Today we got a Battlefield comms from the Battlefield 6 team talking about the changes coming to Season 1. They said they wanted to share an update on changes and improvements they've been working on based on player feedback. It says their immediate focus is on overall performance and combat experiences. As we move forward, we're investigating potential changes on key areas such as weapon dispersion, balance, visibility, aim assist, progression, and more. And a number of updates have already been made available. Of course, what we have live now is the changes they have made to the custom searches, the vehicle spawn bug where the spawns were not working correctly for like breakthrough, and even the helicopter on certain maps. Now those are working as intended. The portal server availability, they made the change to adjust XP for community experiences. They did make some changes also to people that are farming XP in bot servers. Now the upcoming changes, the real important ones here. First of all, they talk about player movement. They're actively refining player movement to address areas that previously felt inconsistent. The interesting part here is they said they're enhancing sight stability by minimizing reticle movement during specific animations. These adjustments aim to deliver a smoother and more precise aiming experience. Also, they talked about progression. It says they're continuing to monitor the impact of changes made last week. And last week the change was, in case you did not hear, the first 20 attachments that you unlock for a weapon now unlock faster than they previously did. So the weapon XP is a bit quicker. After the first 20 attachments are unlocked, the XP is back to what it was when the game first released. So it is very slow, but you will get those first attachments quickly. When it comes to XP earned, they talked about how the escalation and King of the Hill are not working as intended. They are planning to significantly increase the payout to bring them in line with other modes. And I have played a good bit of King of the Hill lately, trying to get some of the character skins unlocked, and I did notice that the XP was very lacking at times. Sometimes it seemed like it worked correctly, or at least it was better than other games, and I'm not really sure why. You could have around the same type of performance in the game. In one game you would have a good bit of XP, and the next game you would hardly get any at all. So that kind of answers the question of why that was not working as intended. We've also seen your feedback about challenges and their criteria. They're going to roll out these over at least two updates. And some of these, a lot of you are probably like I am, you've already got these finished and you're like, wow, I guess I should have just waited. The first one being the class assignment for Assault 1. Get kills with the adrenaline ejector has now been moved from 30 to 3, and that's crazy. I thought maybe it would be like 10, but apparently it's going to be 3 now. The Engineer Expert 3, repair vehicles in a match from 6,000 to 1,000. And the weapon assignment, Deadeye, get headshot kills over 200 meters with a sniper rifle from 150 to 5. And it says, in addition, the later game update will reduce the 200 meter distance. I was surprised that they really knocked them down that much when it comes to the amount that you need. I was thinking, when it comes to kills, anywhere from like maybe 5 to 10. Probably the 10 range would probably be about what most players would have expected. But it is getting fixed, and it looks like we're going to have more and probably a future update as well. Sadly, I have finished most of these besides the sniper assignment, which will be a whole lot easier now. Actually, it probably should be completed on my end, but these will be a lot easier to complete, and I think that is a good thing, so players can get things unlocked a little bit quicker. And when it comes to visibility, it says they're working on an adjustment to exposure and brightness. Now, the brightness in game, we all know, is very, very bad when you go from inside a building to outside, or vice versa. It is sometimes unbelievably hard to see anything. So it says they will have some improvements in place that will help with the blinding light and looking outdoors, overlay dark interiors when looking indoors. That's the biggest part. The biggest part of looking from the outside in is a lot of times you cannot see anyone inside of a window. It just looks kind of like it's very dark, and there's nobody there, but somebody actually will be standing in that window. Also, they're looking at the lack of visibility around weapon optics when zooming in. There's an adjustment as a part of a wider pass focused on improving visibility that we expect to complete later in Season 1. And I know players are still talking about player visibility. That is why you see probably more players using infrareds now that they have unlocked them. I know the infrared unlocks are really, really high, but within the unlock tree. But those infrareds make it a whole lot easier to see enemies. And those maps that are harder to see enemies on, people are using more and more infrareds now. And so hopefully they will get the player visibility fixed. That has always been a problem in Battlefield, unfortunately, over the last several titles. Weapon dispersion. As a part of Season 1's update on the 28th of October, we're making several adjustments to how weapon dispersion behaves. These changes are aimed to ensure each weapon's accuracy better reflects its intended performance over range. They say they're going to continue to refine weapon accuracy. Now, this is dealing with weapon bloom. They've already made a couple changes in some back-end fixes in the last few weeks, but this is going to be a bigger fix here. Hopefully, it's going to get rid of that problem where you're getting weapon bloom when you're not supposed to. Weapon bloom has always been in Battlefield, but when you are actually laying prone, kneeling, or firing while standing still, you should not be experiencing weapon bloom like you would if you're moving and holding full auto at a target, downrange somewhere. And unfortunately, that has been the problem. You're still experiencing the weapon bloom when you should not be. So this hopefully will get that fixed. Also, they're going to make some changes to post-sprint firing. Weapons fired immediately after sprinting while zoom could retain higher dispersion and reducing accuracy. And also at the movement start, they're talking about the dispersion was increasing faster than it should when players began moving. So they're making some really good tweaks to this post-firing and when you start to move right off the bat. So hopefully these will get fixed. They also talked about not doing Battlefield Labs for the next little bit while they roll out Season 1's content, because they said it's going to be a time for them to make sure they get everything handled and adjusted for Season 1. So Battlefield Labs will be back later down the road. And the one interesting thing here is we did not have an announcement yet for Battle Royale. A lot of people are assuming it's going to be shadow dropped, kind of a surprise drop on the 28th with Season 1. And the weird thing to me was they listed Battle Royale changes in the Season 1 kind of preview. So it shows that it's, at least if it's not going to come out on the 28th, and I'm assuming that's probably going to be the date. That's everything we've heard. But of course, those are all leaks, so take that with a grain of salt. But it's going to be pretty soon, because I do not think they would have put the changes for Battle Royale in these preview notes. So they're changing the close range TTK in Battle Royale. They fine-tuned that. They also have changed the way armor works. This is everyone will now have the capacity for 2 armor plates at the start of the game, and all players will spawn with 1. World improvements. They've been messing or fixing, I guess I should say, pesky world bugs and optimizing areas to improve the environment. And they've also adjusted the balance of helicopters and combat vehicles to keep them as powerful tools showing off Battlefield's core DNA. They've also been working on and providing a overall smoother performance. So we'll have to wait and see if this actually does drop with Season 1. I do find it interesting, like I said, that they put these notes in this preview. I guess maybe to at least let people know they are still working on some things within Battle Royale, and I'm assuming it's going to hopefully come out by the end of the year if we don't see it before then. Of course, it says thank you for continuously sharing your feedback and suggestions, all of your clips, your bug reports, and everything. They're really happy that the community is letting them know the problems in game. And I will say the team over at Battlefield 6 has been doing an incredible job at making these changes. Leave me a comment with your thoughts, and of course, if you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.